What is up, guys? We are here with another episode of the REQBs out here where we talk amateur football knowledge mixed with professional real estate tips, right? All right. Jim,
I
how's it
like
going
that.
up there in Philly?
What's going on, Paul? It's I would say amateur might be a little too high for us.
A little too high for us.
We may be pre-amateur. We may be pre-amateur.
That's
We
right.
just behind. We need to have bloopers behind the scenes of what we do before we actually go record.
Well, we are professional fans, if nothing else, right?
Yeah.
And yesterday I didn't have a chance to tell you this yet. Yesterday I was on a nationally syndicated show, talking sports yesterday with the Team 980 down there in Washington D.C. on the Chris Russell show. I was a guest on there, talking to them and giving them a little flack on some things, having a little fun, wishing Chris a happy birthday, as well as talking Commanders football. And we're supposed to follow all these outlines. I just can't wait any longer to show this part of the screen, so I'm going to move to it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Washington Commanders are number one. Let me zoom this screen in. I'm not sure how often you're going to see this, but we are number one in the NFC East.
You need to You need to take a screenshot of that.
I need to have a screenshot of that. It's not by points forced. It is definitely not by points allowed, because we've allowed more there. It is only because we are 1-0 in the division and have that similar record that we get to stay there. Of course, the Giants, we defeated them, and they are sitting at the bottom there with Daniel Jones, but that's all right. Lots to talk about on this screen and where the whole NFL is sitting. But do you mind if we jump into? Are you feeling okay? Does it hurt to sit on the chair this week after
So, yeah. And, today's Thursday, so or Friday, sorry, Friday. We were going to try to do this on Tuesday, but due to the nature of Monday Night Football, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't.
There wasn't enough ice bath available.
What a brutal. That was an actual brutal, and it hurt worse because I was actually down there in South Philly at the game live.
Oh, wow.
I remember we scored that field goal, and we're like, all right, there's no way we're losing this game. They got to march all the way down the field, and the defense has been, was somewhat decent. They weren't, performing top level, but they also weren't giving up a lot of yards either. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling good. We'll watch it. And then I looked over to my buddy, and I said, did they just march down the fucking field? Are you kidding me? Like,
it's a family show, Jim.
Sorry, we'll have to go back and bleep that one off.
Philadelphia or something.
But I was like, you got to be kidding me. They marched all the way down to the field. We're going to lose this game. It was absolutely, oh, my God. That was the worst walk out of the stadium. The only thing that was positive about walking out of that stadium after that win is we actually walked out with Paul Montgomery, the owner of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
A billionaire, I believe. And I'm like, doesn't this guy have a different way out? Like, somebody can't. And he walked from the link all the way to the Philly Stadium at Citizens Bank, where I guess he gets free parking, I'm sure. So it was just kind of cool to see him and he was talking to the fans and not. But what a terrible drive home. Like, couldn't listen to sports radio the next day.
Did it feel something like this? Oh, we can't give them an ad. Hold on. I'll come back to it here in a second. Sorry, Zach.
I mean, if you would like to sponsor us. Good old Kirk Cousins.
Was it something like that?
Yeah. It was definitely one of those things. But it was a good night. My office had a big tailgate. There was a couple hundred people there. We had fun. But, man, and it doesn't look any better this week for us.
Yeah, I mean, as the second place team in the division, what are you expecting to come out of this week for your Eagles?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm seeing a loss.
Okay.
The Saints just seem to be clicking on all cylinders.
I mean,
They're
let's talk about these Saints for a second. If we're going back to the graphic up here and we're looking at them, they are in a crowded division.
yeah.
You have the Saints at 2-0, who have not just won, but destroyed both at home and away within the division, and 2 and
Yep.
0 within the conference.
Yep.
So these are important wins that they have going on there.
100%.
We're not talking about just gimme games, that
Yep.
that they're sitting at 2 and 0, and then the Buccaneers right behind them. They beat the first place Washington Commanders, in their first game, and then came out and did a number as well. So
Yeah.
they're sitting in a very good position. And
And
then, of course, the dirtiest of all the birds, who picked up the win against your Eagles there, are sitting at a solid 1-1 with a different Kirk Cousins this week. I think that was there were two main factors between that Falcons Eagles game, is that, of course, you had Mr. Brown not in town. He was
yeah,
sitting down, Mr. Brown, this week, and Kirk
killed
Cousins,
us.
actually did not have to be in shotgun on every play and sit flat-footed. He actually was able to get some motion and get more back to being himself. Speaking of which, in last night's game, how about Aaron Rodgers looking like his old self, taking command of that one?
Yeah, he's back. It seemed like, hopefully this is for Jets fans especially. This is a what they had hoped for a year ago before he went out. So I'm rooting for it. Like him and New York Jets, like they deserve. I'd rather see the Jets succeed than the Giants. So we'll I'll root them
I
on.
don't
But
think
back,
there's too much fear in that happening this year, but that's that's okay.
um, but yeah, so back really quick to the Eagles like schedule, and obviously we had the Saints this week, but right after the Saints we have Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So we could literally start 1-3, and Nick Sirianni's gone. He may get fired if we lose 3 games
Barkley
out.
might get traded again. I mean, there's so many different things that could happen.
But after that, on the horizon, we have the Cleveland Browns, the New York Football Giants, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So that we could be
So
500 ball. So
Washington, of course, for everybody who's out there listening, we do cover all of the teams. I live in Nashville, have for 20 years, but I grew up the first 20 years. I'm not giving away my age, but first 20 years of my life in the Virginia DC area. And so I'm still bleeding burgundy gold. I don't care. The last 25 years have been the hardest to be a fan, but that's all right. And obviously Jim here is in Next Move Delaware Valley, covering everything from Delaware to Maryland to Pennsylvania and all of that. So he's an Eagles fan. So you're going to hear a lot more of those two teams probably talked about than others. But
yeah,
we're going to get to all your teams, throughout all these episodes and whatnot. But yeah,
I would ask you, who out of all the teams so far, when you look like kind of down at the where everybody's at, which team surprises you the most, whether it's good or bad?
yeah. How about let's go with a good and a bad?
Okay.
Because I think clearly I'm going to give you two, because I think it's very obvious in most camps, the choice for the New Orleans Saints to be, the big surprise already, just because of how they blew up Dallas, which that might have been my favorite game of the year. I might be okay the rest of the year. If we can win, I mean, we're number one in the division for the Commanders,
Yeah.
and Dallas got blown up in the same week. I mean, it was a perfect.
And not only that, is literally what, 20 minutes before kickoff, Dak signed that big deal.
Oh
Made him
yeah,
the highest paid QB ever, and then boom,
that's
he
right.
didn't do so well. So you're good. It would be the Saints. I'm gonna go a different good. Out of I didn't expect the Steelers to start off 2-0.
I think that's fair enough, with all of the controversy between who's going to play. And Russell Wilson, I don't know if you saw this, is still on the did not participate list for
Yep.
practice. He's limited in his use. So I don't know how much of that is them just trying to decide what to do with him, how much of it actually hurt. But yeah, I didn't expect the Steelers to get off to the start they have. That said, I'm maybe not as surprising to me because Mike Tomlin has always
True.
found a way to build a solid team that you always have to be a little bit scared of because he's never come in with a dud. I mean, we can give all the props to a lot of great coaches out there, but I think if you were to look at consistently, you're going to have a tough game this week. Mike Tomlin's done that just about as good as anyone. I'm going to throw one more in the mix just because I can't ignore them, and that is the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
They back in the day when they were part of the NFC East, it was always, oh, great, it's the Cardinals. We can always beat. Everybody knew they were going to beat the Cardinals, right? And things haven't been a whole lot different down there in Arizona, but they've come out to a pretty rocking start this year as well. Who's your dud so far?
Well, I was going to say with the Cardinals, they've kind of built, the last couple of years on, with draft picks. And I truly think Marvin Harris Jr. is going to be a great wide receiver, maybe not this year, but definitely by next year.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no doubt.
I think you're going to see them start creeping up and being the top of the NFC, for a couple years to come.
Love it.
One of my duds right off the bat is pretty obvious. It's actually almost a tie coming out of the AFC North is the Ravens and Bengals being 0-2.
Yeah, I
didn't expect that.
If I'm having to pick between the two teams there, at least the Ravens have played pretty well in both games. They just haven't won them. Where and the Bengals, actually played the Chiefs pretty well too. That could have maybe gone a different direction with a few changes. You're bringing Jamar Chase back late into the game on the preseason side of things and getting him activated, just makes for a little bit of a catch up period. But I saw a stat where the Bengals have historically just not started well. That's just not their thing. So be interesting to see if Joe Burrow can flick that wrist back into shape and get them going on things. And for me, it's more of a tragic start, I think, for the team that I'm surprised in. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, losing Tua for maybe his career, although he's trying to not say that's the case. Tyreek, is amazing, but he's only going to be as good as whoever is going to be able to get him the ball.
100%.
So I'll be curious to see if there are some trades. I think the trades this week might be, or not this week, but over the next coming weeks. It could really be the next story. I think so many teams are already looking as to what that is. And who are those players going to be, and where are the best fits for some of these guys? So if you were to give me name a player, what are the Eagles missing? Where you guys seem to have this magic wand for bringing on cagey veterans that still have some life left in them, where Washington has had in the past the graveyard syndrome when we go ahead and do that. Who's someone out there that you think that the Eagles need to acquire?
For me, well, first of all, it comes down to coaching. So I don't know if there's a magic wand there, but I truly think the Eagles need to get another big defensive end veteran. I think Fletcher Cox being gone is not so much just for the player, but for the leadership there at the D line, because I think we have a young, great D line that's on a couple years from now be super, super good. Like watching those, I was noticing this when I was down the stadium live. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, those two guys, like if I turned the corner and I saw those guys and they said there's $1 million on the other end and I got to get through them, there's no way. There's just no way that I would. Those guys are huge.
Right.
But I think we need like that veteran leadership like Fletcher Cox had, because now we don't have that anymore right there on the D line. So
Yeah, I'm trying to rate how that does anymore. That used to be such a big deal. We got one of the best locker room guys, if you would, and went out and got Wagner in there, who's just been a monster in so many ways. Great leadership kind of thing. However, the wheels just aren't there anymore, and unfortunately, that for Bobby Wagner, it's just been a big talk and a big story here is that you can have the vision, you can have the mind, but if the body's not willing, it's really hard to have that out there. And
I was gonna say, I also think we need another running back. Obviously,
you don't like putting all your stock in Saquon's health for an entire season?
Well, no. I mean, he's not. He's not an everyday. He's not going to be an every down back. Which
right.
I feel like I'm thinking back to when we won the Super Bowl. They brought in Jay Ajayi and
right.
And then also what's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now, but they brought in like running backs to take over just to put the pressure off of the star. And for me, I'm just not a big Kenny Gainwell as a backup, as your second running back. So it'd be nice to have just like another maybe veteran back there as well, and maybe
right.
that I don't know. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. I don't know if you saw down where you are, but it's a big topic right now in Philly. Is Coach Sirianni didn't even address the team after the game.
Yeah, I did. I heard about that. We talked about that on the Team 980 yesterday about that, because actually we found out that it was not Nick Sirianni, but
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts taking over the locker room and doing the leadership, that Sirianni was not only disgusted, but Jalen Hurts made it his team. Yep. Which, I think that was an interesting play.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see how it plays out, because if the rumors were true that Sirianni and Hurts are not on the same page, which, there was a lot of rumors in the offseason here in Philly, is if that's the case and Jalen Hurts just took over, it's a matter of time before Sirianni's out of there.
Or if we go back to our Tom Brady New England days, maybe Jalen Hurts has to go somewhere else to gel and win a Super Bowl with another team.
Belichick was at the game Monday night in Philly, so maybe he was scouting out and seeing what he's thinking.
Yeah, so
who knows?
And who knows? The Patriots definitely could use another quarterback. Are we officially starting right here on the REQBs the rumor that Jalen Hurts could be the next quarterback of the New England Patriots?
That could get a lot of hits.
I feel like we could throw something out to that aspect there. So you want running backs? I would just like anybody who could pretend on any level to play corner or safety. We probably are looking at the worst DBs in the league. One of the big topics that I talked with them down there yesterday was also we have two of the highest paid defensive tackles on the defensive line in the league, and they both rank at 18th. Combined in double teams. So there are 17 other defensive tackles out there that are getting more double teams than them. And yet we are giving away almost more rushing yards than, 80% of the teams that are out there. So if you can't stop the run and you can't stop the pass, how are we winning games? And the answer is barely. And because New York did not have a kicker.
Now who do you guys play this week?
So we have the Bengals, who are 0-2.
All right,
coming into town, and it is on going to be a night game on Monday night, on the Monday night doubleheader. And I think while it is a must win for the Bengals, I think it is also a huge opportunity win for the Commanders because of who Philly and Dallas are facing this week, and the Giants are just going to be the Giants,
Yeah.
So, with you having New Orleans coming up and the Cowboys, excuse me, having a lofty matchup against Lamar and company up there.
Yeah.
Who are at 0-2, they definitely need that. They actually need that win more than Dallas does. So, in the Super Bowl era, only one team that has started 0-3 has ever made it to a playoff berth. So that would not, if history and stats, which Jim Harbaugh loves over there, or anything, he's going to be talking that stat up to them quite a bit about, hey, the Ravens have got to get a win here. And I think they've got the opportunity to do it against Dallas. I think Dallas was highly exposed last week. And
I hope so.
yeah. And I think their defense, they just got destroyed, and I think they got really exposed on that. And as good as the Saints have been, they don't have Lamar.
Yeah.
So that.
Well, I guess we're back to the double Monday Night Football games again.
We're back to double Monday night. We are. Let's talk about a couple. Let's go through some predictions here, and you give me your win and loss, and I'm going to let you track these this week. So I'm going to let you write these down somewhere in your iPad, your iPhone, your iBrain, whatever version you have there.
Right, so
I'm going to do something most good fans don't do, and that is to trust a Philly fan to keep the record straight.
I'm going to put it in. What are we, 3? So I'm putting in notes so I can share them with you as soon as.
Oh, there we go. Shared notes, and we can even pop those up on the screen to see, what we're actually looking at. And what?
First game, Giants, Browns.
Let's take a look at it. We have got. I'm going to bring it up here for everybody. By the way, folks, we are still producing our own show. There's no one else helping us out here, so you feel free to fumble along with us and be part of the REQB team, brought to you by Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment and Next Move X. Also, be sure, if you're having any fun with us and want to continue this mayhem into the following week, you got to hit this subscribe button over here and come join us on our new YouTube channel, the REQB. That's what you're going to want to search. It's got some link, but I don't know how to do that. So.
Yeah. We have some plans for the future. We're just working week by week. Isn't that right?
That's it. And then if you're really bored and want to listen to us and check us out more, you can check out these social media things that are covered up at the moment, but they'll be uncovered here. And you've probably already seen them already.
Yep.
Anyway, New York, Cleveland, who you got?
I'm just for the simple fact that I can never pick them. I'm going Browns.
Going with the Browns at home. Gonna see if Deshaun Watson can massage a win out of garnish a win out of this situation here. I know, too many of those. The line's 6.5 Cleveland. So are you in the over-under's 38.5? Where are you at on your over-under?
I feel like they're both a mess.
Really?
I'm going under.
Going for the under. I would have to agree. I don't think there's any way we get close to that 38.5 on that with two teams that have no offense. Unless you're depending on defensive scoring. I don't see that one happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you on both fronts there. I just don't think Cleveland defense, I think, is better. I think that they've got more options at offense than New York. Love Malik Neighbors. He is going to be a stud, but it's not a one-man show up there, and New York's going to drop to 0-3.
Yep.
Green Bay at the Tennessee Titans, my hometown now, my new hometown for the last almost 20 years.
Yep.
Tennessee Titans here in Smashville, Tennessee. Boy, that's a tight line there, and not much of I don't understand how this over-under number is lower than the previous game, but tell me all about it. What you got? This
is a tough one to pick.
It also
I
is
think,
Malik Willis against Will Levis. Malik was traded from the Titans to the Packers,
uh,
and both were draft picks by the Titans.
I think the Titans get their first win. Um, I just think I think the Packers are just unfortunately kind of lost right now. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. I don't. Willis isn't going to be the answer, obviously. Um, so I think they're gonna take a couple losses, and I think just for the simple fact that they're in Tennessee, maybe is why I'm gonna go with that route. But I think it's gonna be like a 1 to 3 point win. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything. And I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. Ooh, that's a tough over under. I think I'm going 17-10, so under.
Okay, 17-10 going on the under there. We didn't get a score on your New York Cleveland.
Well, I didn't really. I don't really predict scores. I just thought for
All
some
right.
reason
Fair enough. Fair
it
enough.
sounded good. It sounded good.
So I'm going to go with you on Tennessee on this as well. Packers traded away their lead running back. They depended on AJ Dillon, who had a monstrous week, by the way, with Minnesota. But AJ Dillon came in. Now he's injured. We're on back number 3 as our starting running back with the backup quarterback, who was the third quarterback in Tennessee. They just don't simply have the offense. Tennessee will step it up this week. They'll get the win. They will not get the over, however. But Tennessee with the win. Chicago, Indy, what do you got?
I'm going Bears. Like right off the bat, that's what I think. Caleb Williams, I think, is gonna have a good game against the Colts. I
So
think
2 weeks in a row, I have said exactly what you said, and we have not seen it yet.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I got to throw this out. It's just a fun fact. I want Chicago to win this for a couple different reasons. My wife's family is all Chicago Bears fans, and my daughter has this cute little Chicago Bears cheerleader outfit, which I told her she's in trouble for wearing that. But one of my good friends that I grew up with in elementary school all the way through high school, played on baseball teams together, football teams together, all that sort of stuff, is the receiver coach for the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
And so I really want them to have a good season on personal levels. But I tell you what, Indy's just looked good to me. It's at home. I once again don't like the over on this, and it is a fine line at -1 on the line there.
It's gonna be a good game, I think.
I think that one's going to be a surprisingly good game. Maybe Caleb Williams gets a chance to break out. I don't know. He looks disturbed. He does not look comfortable yet, and he took a pounding last week. So I'm not sure if he's even got the physicality fully recovered after the beating that he took last week. Houston, Minnesota, maybe the game of the week. What do you got?
So you're going Indy. Is that what you're rolling?
Going Indy on that one. Yeah,
and I think we both said the under. So all right. So we're in Houston, Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another tight game. I almost feel like it's a flip of the coin, but I think I'm gonna go Texans.
Okay.
I think
what pushes it for you?
I think it comes down to QB.
Okay.
I think Stroud's definitely a better QB than what Vikings got. So
you're not on the Sam Darnold train?
Nah, not at all. It's a shame. It's a shame too for the Vikings because I feel like they always feel like they're right there. And then the QB is always their, look how many different QBs they've had over the years recently.
You mean the QB that beat the Eagles this past week? Is that the one you're referring to?
There's one of them.
Yeah.
He didn't. I tell you what, he didn't beat us. He didn't beat us when he was in Minnesota.
Well, he sure didn't beat you much when he was with Washington. So yeah, that's fair enough on all levels. I am going to I would say this is the hardest pick for me out of the entire week. I really am a fan of what Houston's doing. I'm not sure it's clicking on all cylinders yet. I think a lot of it just depends on which Justin Jefferson is going to show up. And if him and Sam Darnold can keep that flavor going, they can grab this win. I don't think it's enough, though. I think Stephon Diggs gets even more active. And between him and Nico Collins and Joe Mixon, I know he's a little banged up too, but running backs are always banged up. And CJ Stroud just looking for another MVP type year. I'm going to take Houston as well. I am going to go with the over on this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an over. I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
I think, we're going to see that. So
Philly, New Orleans. I know you've been waiting for this one for the entire rundown.
So I'm making this pick on a couple. Well, really one main thing. I'm hoping when I pick the Saints that my reverse psychology will actually allow the Eagles to win the game. So, but I'm going Saints, and I'm going over.
For the over 50 points coming into this game. My goodness. Can you tell me what the average has been for the Saints over the past 2 weeks?
The average for the Saints over the last 2 weeks has been 91 points.
91 points. So
like 40 a game.
The Saints, I'm going to give you the over. I don't think it's as close as it looks. I think the Eagles are in trouble at head coach. I think they're in trouble on defense. I think that Jalen Hurts can only make that speech and have it sink into about half the team. I think that they are scared of the Commanders, and it's just a bad week in Philadelphia going to the Saints. And the Saints are going to have not as many points as they've had the last few weeks, but they're going to at least have 34 points. I see this as a 34-17 game. Tell me what you got in line for LA coming to Pittsburgh.
I think this is a tough one to choose too. It's only 1.5 point spread. Look at the over under 35.5 is what I got.
Yeah, the lowest one we've gone through so far.
Yeah. I don't. It's almost like flipping a coin. Since it's the home field, I think, and the Steelers, they're, the fans are pretty pumped up that and this is their first home game coming home 2-0. So I think they're going to go 3-0 and do it at home. And I think the crowd is what's on it. I mean, they're going to be fired up when they come home at undefeated right now. So the beginning of that game, they're going to be wild, and Pittsburgh's fans are wild. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I feel like it's going to be the over. I feel like that's such a low number to go under.
I'm going to agree with you on the over. I think we are. I'm going to choose the over on this game. I am going to go LA with the win. I think that it's still going to be too hot for these Pittsburgh players to handle, and the LA Chargers are going to remain on fire under John, whichever one it is. One of our brothers.
One of those.
And I think we're going to see some Michigan fans show up at that one and find a way to read some cards over there and figure out some of those playbooks that they've got going on in Pittsburgh. Denver at Tampa.
I am rolling definitely Tampa. 6.5 point favorites. I think they definitely win by a touchdown. And I think I'm going to go over too. I think they're going to blow out the Broncos. It's at home in Tampa. They're having fun down there. They are, they played a great Detroit team who I think is going to be, in the running for the playoffs last week. So I think you're going to see another 3-0 start you're going to see a 3-0 start for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I definitely
since 2005.
Wow. So I think Todd Bowles has got a special crew this year. I think he is going to be way too much for Bo Nix and company. I agree with you. They are going to get the win. I don't think I'm going to take the under on this one, only
Uh,
because I don't think Denver scores more than 2 field goals in this game.
all right, all right.
Carolina at Las Vegas.
Can we just say how bad Carolina is? Like,
I mean, is it pointless to even discuss this game? They're so
just
bad.
like they're. I mean, obviously I'm rolling with the Raiders.
Where does Bryce Young end up? He just got benched after 2 games of a new season of having all year to work with them. I get it. Lots of changes in the coaching, changes in the players. I don't know what you do in Carolina.
They're scrambling right now. Like,
And Vegas just came off the win in Baltimore, and it's at their home. You know they want to bring that same energy back, and Crosby looks just dominant as all get out, and could be up for defensive player of the year at this point if he repeats what he did to Baltimore. So I am sorry, Carolina, it's not going to be a good week for you.
no.
I'm still going to go with the under, only because I don't think Carolina scores a point in this game.
Well,
I'm calling shutout.
Yeah, I'm going with the under too, and it's definitely going to be if they score maybe a field goal.
Yeah.
I just don't see anything. Dalton is not. I just don't see him doing anything. So
he played for the Cowboys win, and was with. He's been tossed around so much. I like Big Red, but he's just not going to be the answer in 1 week to go against a Vegas team that just beat Baltimore. Not happening.
He's actually younger than I thought he was, to be honest with you.
How old's old Andy Dalton?
He is. How old do you think he is? I thought he was pushing
36.
Yeah, he's 36. I honestly,
I didn't even look that up.
I thought he was pushing a little. He's got 14 years in the league.
I'm just going to say, if my age predictions are anything like my win-loss predictions here, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yep. So anyway,
Miami, Seattle. Who do you got?
I think this one is definitely. I'm going Seahawks. It's at home. Dolphins are they don't know what again. They don't know what's going on at QB. There's been a lot of like QB talk here, and since a lot of teams just don't know what's going on at QB level right now. So
QBs leading the locker room over coaches. You got QBs falling down to injuries. You got QBs who can't perform. That's a great question. I think we see Bryce Young. I'm going to throw it out there as a prediction right now. I don't think Bryce Young's problem is Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is a problem in Carolina.
Yep.
I am going to call it out now that Miami is going to make for a decent trade to get Bryce Young to come in and be the next quarterback of the Miami Dolphins.
Right here, that's another rumor we just threw out.
Old predictions.
We got Jalen Hurts going to New England, and
I think we just discovered a new segment. I know other shows do it, and they do bold predictions or whatever, but we're gonna go with the bold, or go bold or go home. We'll come up with something that we can call this. But in real estate, we also subscribe to bold, meaning a whole other way of how we approach our business and our clients and all of that. So it would make a lot of sense for us to have bold predictions in both the NFL and bold predictions in the market, don't you? I think we're creating our show as we speak here,
I think we are. It's like it's like a metamorphosis. It's like
it's metamorphosizing right into something. All right. Well, tell me who is. So you're taking. Sorry, I got all distracted.
I'm gonna go Seattle. With. I think I'm gonna go under.
Seattle on the under. Okay. Well, I don't like to fall in line with you too often on it. It's just not as fun. But I don't see. Yes, Tyreek my grandmother could throw a touchdown to him. He gets himself so much separation. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to lead an offense to a victory over a Seattle team who is just a couple key elements away from being really good.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf just takes over games. And, if they can keep the running back situation healthy, they've got solid guys in there. And Geno, we were talking about Bryce Young for a minute. Geno could not get anything to happen with the Jets. He goes out to Seattle, and it is a completely different quarterback. And all of a sudden, he's almost top 10. With just being in the right system. So maybe that can be something that happens to Bryce Young.
That was actually a topic that was on sports radio the other day when I was listening. They were talking about, I think it was with, I want to say Caleb Williams, maybe, but unfortunately when you're a top quarterback prospect in the draft, you're getting drafted by the worst team.
Oh yeah, look at Eli Manning.
Yeah, and sometimes that worst team is not the right fit, for that QB, and too many teams think same thing with Carolina. They were talking about Carolina as well. Is they took that quarterback because they were the top pick, obviously, but they're not the right fit for the team, if that makes sense. So
yeah. I definitely agree with that, and I think that's something that'll be remain to be seen. But yeah, I'm with you. Seattle gets the win on this. I'm going to take the over, though. I think we're going to see 3 touchdowns from each team, and we barely get the over. Would even so much so I'd pay some insurance on the 0.5 there if I was laying down real money. Baltimore at Dallas.
I'm going Baltimore. I just have to. I don't think there's going to be one time where I pick the Cowboys just for a simple sake.
And that will probably be a area that we both agree on throughout this. So if you are a Cowboys fan, we're not sorry.
But I truly do think if you take away the Cowboys thing, I do think the Ravens obviously haven't won yet. I don't see them starting out 0-3. I think they're too good for that. I think they're going to find a way to win. 48 is the. I think I'm going to go under. I just don't think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah, 48's hard for me. I would, if you were to take the last game, the 41, I might pick the over on the 41. 47 and a half is just too high for me on that one as well. Yeah. I'm with you. It's Baltimore all the way. I think Dallas is in self-destruction mode, even if you take the fandom out of it for us, whereas Baltimore is a Tucker field goal away from having a completely different record. Though he has struggled for the first time in his career on a few shots this year. So is that leg finally catching up with him? We'll find out. Baltimore's never had to find another kicker in a century, it feels like. So, Mr. Automatic may be Mr. Problematic for them coming here down the stretch.
He's a great guy, too. I actually met him at a golf tournament.
He is. Yeah.
Really nice guy.
Likewise, I met him. Actually, I met him at a derby over there in. Why am I going to forget the name of the race out there? The one in Maryland, Preakness. Yeah.
Yep.
Preakness. Yep. We were doing a show out there and got to meet old Mr. Tucker, and he's a great guy for sure. Speaking of great guys, boy, my team is basically just handed San Francisco former Washington Commanders for the last 5 to 10 years, including from the head coach on down. Who do you have for San Francisco at LA, which both head coaches, former coaches of the Washington Redskins?
I'm going, I think I'm going
no Cooper Kupp, no McCaffrey.
I know. I'm still going San Fran by a field goal.
Okay.
And I'm going to go, I don't know about that. That 43 and a half is kind of, I'm trying to think. How many points did they score last week? 40. I'm going under.
You're going to go under? All right.
Rams have only scored 15 points average for the last 2 games, and 49ers just aren't any better with scoring right now, and they're hurting without McCaffrey. So I am going 49ers for the win, but with the under.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think Jordan Mason showed me more than what most people thought he would do, replacing McCaffrey in that position. There is no replacement for him, but I think he's done a really good job. I don't see anything special other than Cooper Kupp outside of the guy who's been on the sidelines the whole time already, Puka Nacua. Who do you throw to if you're Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
Your threats are gone. I think San Francisco and he's getting a little less mobile, even though he's good at escaping. You've got Boza, and anytime Boza's able to even halfway show up for a game, he's injured a lot, but even if he's able to halfway show up, he's still better than most. I don't think they have a real fun time in their home stadium. And is it really home? I mean, Inglewood, San Francisco, it's all California out there, and I think it's going to be pretty brutal, actually. I think that San Francisco takes it to them, maybe 28-14. I want to go on the over. I just don't see it happen. I'm going to agree with you on the under on that as well.
It's hard to agree on it.
Detroit and at Arizona. Dan Campbell this week in the headlines for his house. It's a real estate moment that we're plugging in here. He had to move. There was too much happening. Too many fans who were upset. Detroit fans, not your team went from wearing bags on their head for the last 30 years to finally getting a team that is not only playoff bound, but probability factor to be in the championship, if not in the Super Bowl. And we've got fans that are so upset after, everything he's done for a couple of years, putting, him in an uncomfortable situation at a $4.5 million residence. Like, come on, Detroit, get it together. You've got some love and a good team to go for. You don't need to be doing that.
And they say Philadelphia is bad. We've never made a head coach sell their house. Come on. We might have threw a snowball at Santa, but we never made. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he's still in his house in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Maybe not for long. Depends on if Jalen Hurts says anything to do about it. But at least that would be team based, not fan based. At that.
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Right.
I just.
Who do you got in this one?
I honestly think this is going to be a good game. I think this could be a great 4:00 game because there's not a whole bunch of like exciting 4:00 games to me, but I think this could be a good one. I think Arizona's playing well. Lions, obviously they want to come back, but I'm going Detroit on the road. I think they're gonna come through with it. 51.5 points.
The highest over under of the week. I don't see it.
What's their? How many points are they averaging each? I mean,
you're
46 total. So I just don't see an over on that one. That's a high scoring game.
Yeah. I think it'll be a shootout. It's in Arizona. It's going to be, it's going to be they're in a dome right there, and a dome for dome. It's not going to be that big of a difference. Phoenix fans are not nearly as rabid as many other places. I don't think you're going to get a 12-man sort of advantage at home for Arizona. And I just think Detroit's got a little too much firepower. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown ends up having his best game against Budda Baker. That matchup's going to be really fun to watch. I agree with you. Probably one of the better games of the entire week is going to be right there. I do go also with Detroit. I am going to have to take the under as well. That's just too high of a combination I don't think Arizona's got the firepower to keep throwing it, slinging back and forth. So,
Yep.
KC, Atlanta. I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick as a revenge pick, but try and be objective. Who do you got in this one?
I think Chiefs are winning it.
Didn't
even if
change it at
even
all.
nah, even if the Eagles had won that game, I would have still picked the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs are a much better football team than the Falcons. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. What Chiefs got 3 points. I think it's going to be under a touchdown. Chiefs victory. I think it's going to be a fourth quarter win.
Okay.
Pat Mahomes is going to lead them down the field to win and kick Kirk Cousins after his leading down the team to last week. So I'm going Chiefs Falcons over, or I mean Chiefs over the Falcons with the over.
Okay. I'm surprised that the line's only -3 with all of the love that I think Taylor Swift gets more attention than the opposing team of the Chiefs almost week in, week out.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who it is. Maybe if it was Dallas, it might balance out a little bit because all the media seems to love them, no matter what their record is. But I am going to make another bold prediction here. I think Atlanta is going to take this game at home on Sunday night. I feel like Kirk has passed the hump for the Monday nights and the Sunday nights, and he's putting all that behind him. I feel that he really is just going to come back with, you like that. And I think that that's what we're going to see again. I tried to be funny, and now I'm turning it off. But he likes it. I still like it. Fans chanting. Gosh, that was back in 2015, 9 years ago.
Oh, my God.
I think Kirk chants those same words again after beating Patty Mahomes. I think Patrick throws a interception that costs the Chiefs the game.
Ooh.
That will ultimately cost their three-peat mindset for the rest of the year. And so that's going to be I think I'm going to go under on this, though. I am going to, since you went over, so I'm just going to disagree with you on all fronts on that game.
Like it.
There you go. Doubleheader on Monday, and we'll wrap this up.
I think it'll be a good game Sunday night. So I think it's going to be I think it'll be a fun one to watch on Sunday Night Football when we're relaxing after a weekend of.
Oh yeah.
For me, I'll be gone all weekend on the softball field, so I'll probably be watching my game on an iPad.
There you go.
But it's gonna be. I think it'll be a good Sunday Night Football game. Yeah, Monday night doubleheader. We start out with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just are a team that can they ever get it together? Are they ever going to be?
There's times I like them. Travis Etienne's on my fantasy team, and we got to talk fantasy at some point on this thing. I know we're way beyond what we said we were going to do on time, but we're getting stuff done today, and that's okay. So Jacksonville against Buffalo, I think Buffalo has been one of those standout teams already this year. What do you think?
I do as well. I think, and it's in Buffalo. Those people are nuts there. Like they haven't gotten fully, going yet because it's not negative 20 degrees. That's when those Buffalo fans and those tailgates, get wild. But I just don't think Jaguars have anything to. Buffalo's a 5-point favorite. I think they win by a touchdown easily. So I'm going Bills. I'm going to go over.
See, I like these over-unders. There are tiebreakers for us. You see, if we pick the same team, if we're different on our over-under, they could be a tiebreaker in what our stats are going to look like for the year. Which Josh Allen's going to show up, I think, is the biggest question. I still, without Diggs, question whether they've got the pieces that they need to. It's going to require him to run more. We're still in the beginning of the season. He hasn't quite taken a pounding yet. I think he's going to perform great in the first half of the season. I think you see a different team in the second half of the season because he's just going to be beat up too much. But he's going to be not beat up so much that he can't beat Jacksonville in this one. I agree on that. And I think we're going to take the under on this one. Don't think Jacksonville can score enough yet.
I will say Josh Allen is one of the QBs for me that I would love to have him on my team.
Yeah.
I would pick him over like Burrow. Burrow, he's got to do something because he's just not performing the way he should. But I think I love
Burrow's
Josh
in
Allen.
his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Josh Allen and Will Levis down here in Nashville have a similar mindset of the play is never over. And there is a Hall of Famer that I'm going to ask you, who does that remind you of that wore a number 4?
Favre.
Brett Favre. They both remind me of Favre, not in stature, not necessarily in maybe Levis a little bit more, but the way they play to the very end of the play, and they're always hopeful regardless of what part of the game it is. And Mahomes is like that to many, many, many points, Mahomes, I think, stays calm enough to do what Allen and Levis do, but with a little bit more calmness to make the right decision. And then I think you got Allen right there close to him. And I think Will Levis is just a few decisions away from being able to be in that category if he'll be able to stick around long enough making the bad decisions in the meantime. So
100%.
But I love the fight.
Did you say over or under?
Yeah, I'm going to go on the under on that.
All right.
I don't think Jacksonville. I like Trevor Lawrence. I just don't know that he's got enough of the weapons. Travis Etienne's on my fantasy team, and I guess I was expecting a little bit more production. Not that it's been bad, just been great production so far. And then everyone's favorite game of the week, Monday night, the late game, last game of the week, Washington at Cincinnati. Tell me all about it. Give me the love. Give me the hate. Give me the prediction. Give me a score.
I am rolling, so let's do this. I am going Bengals with the win.
All right.
They're going to win by 14. It's going to be a blowout.
14-point victory. Well, you haven't been watching enough Washington games. 14 is a victory for us when we get beat by only 14. So if that's your blowout, I'll take it.
I think it's going to be, let's see, maybe 34-20.
Okay.
Which would be
that means you've got the over.
Yep. That's what I'm rolling with.
Wow. Cincy with the over, beating the line, beating the over, beating the Washington Commanders. The triple beat. All right. Well, what I'm going to tell you is you're dead wrong, and that the Commanders are going to go in there and upset a flaky Joe Burrow who doesn't know who he is anymore, doesn't know what team he plays for, doesn't know who he can depend on to throw the ball to. And Jaden Daniels gives us the best game of the year out of any rookie that we have seen yet. He finally gets to run the ball. He's going to score both a rushing touchdown and at least one passing touchdown, along with Austin Eckler getting another touchdown. We're going to have 3 touchdown scores in this. And Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen just become monsters up the middle on that defensive line, and Burrow throws a pick that will result in another field goal, giving Washington 24 points in this, while Cincinnati gets 16.
All right.
And so you do the math on 24 plus 16. I can't do it. What's that put us at? 50?
So you're going over too then.
Yeah, I am choosing the over in a Washington win. I said you were going to get the under, though, didn't I? Or I mean, I said you took the over, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But Bengals, so it doesn't really. If it might not make a difference.
Let's go 24-14. That still puts me over. Never mind. All right. You know what? I'm going to stay with my original prediction. It's going to be 24-16. Washington's going to get a win. We are going to we're going to make separation this week within the division at first place.
You don't have true first place at the end of the
And we'll have sole possession of first place at the end of Monday night.
I think
when losses by all three other NFC East teams.
I think when your prediction comes true, I think I want to see you on the next episode with a Jaden Daniels jersey.
I will do it. I think that is I think that's a great way to end that. Hey, let's take one quick peek at our matchups in our
you know what I was going to throw out there too while I was kind of thinking about it. I was looking ahead to I don't know, week whatever. I think when we have that Thursday night Redskins at Philly game, I'm thinking a little go live at halftime.
Do we have a bonus episode? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm thinking like a little halftime show to make it work. So we'll stay tuned, peeps.
We're talking REQB happy hour with Paul and Jim.
Yeah, we figured by then that's like week 10 or something. Well, we may have our stuff together by then.
We might have it figured out by then. We'll try and figure that out. Well, your name is I Love TDs. TDs, touchdowns. And we're just getting nasty here in Nashville. So this is our fantasy team with our some of our favorite next move real estate agents in the country. Yep. And we're a very competitive group when it comes to fantasy football. But as you can see, Jim and I are both 1-1. You are currently ranked 4th. I am ranked 6th. I'm not happy about this status, but things are going to change here. If we're looking at projections, let's go line by line here real fast. But we have to support our other predictions. So I already have a conflict because I chose the Colts to win and Mahomes to lose and throw that game-ending pick. So that's not going to be good for my prediction there. We also both chose that the Jaguars would lose. Yeah. And you said that Philly had running back problems. So we're both in trouble on that one. DeAndre Swift not done a whole lot in Chicago just yet. Aaron Jones left Green Bay and has a real tough matchup this week, but has been doing some great things there. And then we come to the best wideouts in the league between your Justin Jefferson and my Tyreek Hill. And we both picked both of our guys to lose. So, give me some of your oversight. I will say, you are edging me out by 4.7 predicted points to go there. Give me some predictions on our fantasy matchup.
I think I'm going to come back strong after a great week 1 performance where I crushed it, and then last week the win was out of my sails, but I'm pulling out a win this week, and it's gonna be a good one. I'm feeling it. I'm already thinking about how I want to tweak my lineup a little bit.
So this is not your lineup for the week?
No, will not be. I may be making some moves.
Okay.
Just like Next Move, we like to make moves. We like to help you with all your real estate needs, whether it's here in Philly, Nashville, or even Kansas City. We got you.
We do have people in Kansas City. Do we like Kansas City? Yes, we do. We like Kansas City. Now, if you're in Dallas, we got a guy there too, but we give him a lot of crap, and it's okay. He likes it. We still we love homes in Dallas. Well, and
I'll be down in Dallas here in a few weeks.
I will see you there. I'm going to be there too. We're going to be visiting in Dallas.
We may have to go live in Dallas.
We need to do that. What I am seeing here, though, sadly for me, is not only are your current totals higher than mine, but your bench totals are higher than mine. So I'm either going to have to make some trades, find somebody out there in free agency. I've got my work cut out for me this week if I'm going to stand a chance of beating I Love TDs. So there's there's our box score. We got to get out of here. We've had a great time. But do you have any closing thoughts on lots of movement going on in the NFL, lots of movement going on in fantasy? Let's talk about some of the positive movement that I think you already know where I'm going with this, thanks to the feds that we are going to be experiencing this week in real estate.
We are going to be, it's not happening yet. So, a lot of realtors are out there, saying that the rates dropped overnight, which they actually went up a little bit, but the Feds announced the 0.5% rate drop, which we'll probably start seeing. My lender, obviously the lenders know a little more than us, but what I'm kind of hearing my lenders, October, we're going to see some good changes from, I see obviously we're going to start hitting below 6. It's going to be a great time for buyers to get out there and buy. Still historically low. And shout out to the movement and Jason Kelsey and his dance moves. That's why I wore this week. That is going to be the dance that I do when we get down to that 5% interest rate.
Do you promise to do that dance in Dallas if if we can get that to happen? Is that a thing we're going to get to see?
I don't know. I don't know about that one. This right there.
I feel like I can see you doing that, Jim.
Come
on. You're all about next moves.
Maybe I should wear that suit to Dallas. What's actually a little fun tidbit about this. I heard about it on the radio. Was he had the Italian logos on his pants and they were actually Eagles logos, and they had to sew them on because he was going on Monday Night Countdown and
to cover it up.
So last minute, someone stitched on the flags for. Honestly, I think it made it that much better suit than the Eagles suit. So. But let me tell you, there is several companies that are selling that suit here, and I'm guaranteeing. And here in the Delaware Valley, we're going to see a lot of Jason Kelsey's trick or treating this year in that green velour suit.
So. If I beat you in fantasy this week, you've got to go buy one of these velvet suits to wear next week.
All right. No. I'll bring it in Dallas.
Bring it in Dallas. All right.
I'll bring it to Dallas so that way we can take a picture live.
Well,
what about for you?
What's that?
If I win, what's the bet for you then?
The numbers already say you're gonna win, so I don't feel like there's that much of a
All right, we'll let it go. We'll have some fun. We'll have some fun. Eagles Commanders bets when it comes to those weeks. So we'll figure out some stuff for that.
Did you say Eagles Redskins? Is that what you said? It's okay. Yeah. We can still do this.
I feel supposedly they're getting sued to go back to the Redskins.
We're going to go back to it. That might be a thing that happens. Now, would the rivalries come back? Because we've lost a lot of the rivalry because of how sad the Commanders and football team have been. We've got to. I don't think changing a name either way brings a rivalry if you don't have some game to back it up. So we've got a ways to go before we get back to even considering it being a rivalry. All right. But anyway, from the switching hats again, back to the real estate hat of things. Real quick on those rates, I just got one question for you before we get out of here.
All right, let's roll.
And that is, does a 0.5% make that much of a difference? Are you telling your buyers that they should still do any rate buy downs? Are you telling them lock in now? Are you still marry the home, date the rate kind of stuff or whatever? What's the advice on this 0.5% that's coming?
So for here locally, and there's not really a lot of the rate buy downs going on. We don't see that much here locally. Every once in a while we've seen it, but I've been telling my clients, look, whether it's now, a year ago, or a year from now, if you need to buy a house, you got to buy a house. I wouldn't wait until that rate drops by 0.5%, because then you're going to start seeing an influx of buyers who have been sitting there waiting to come in, like knocking on the door, like, hey, that rate's come down, it's time to get back in there. So when that happens, now we're going to start seeing the house price go up, which I saw for 2025, they're predicting a 4.4% increase in your home value. So I've been telling them, look, if the right house comes about, buy now, refi later.
And I think I
Married
would
up
go
payment.
along with that. Yeah, it's what I'm stressing to folks is go with what you know,
Yep.
right? It's almost, and it's funny to make the parallel on kind of why we do this show between having fun with sports and real estate is if you trade somebody for draft picks, you really don't know. You're investing
Yep.
in a future opportunity that you hope works out. When you
Yep.
bring in a veteran, while it might cost you more than you wanted it to, you have a better idea of what you're going to be able to get out of it now and how much you might be able to bank on it for the future. And I think right now, if you found the house, you can work out the rate later at some
Yep.
point if we can at least get it manageable for you. So maybe that is a rate buy down, maybe it's not. We probably do about 50-50 on that. It sounds like we do quite a
Yeah.
bit more of rate buy downs here, but getting you into that house that you're going to find, because like you said, a 4.5% increase on the price of the house. Well, I would much rather pay a little bit higher my interest rate than next year. Now I got to come with another 30-40 grand, depending on what price point you're in with that house. That can be your equity.
Yep.
If you buy now, as opposed to waiting to buy and then buy at an unknown interest rate. Here's the other thing, folks. It could go up.
Yep.
And so you're also banking on that too. You could Bryce
Yeah.
Young yourself into a home hoping that it's
Yeah.
going to be, the savior home for you. But if you're finding a home that you like now, then that means that now is the time to buy that home.
And I read an article the other day that showed they did when they're talking about rent. And obviously when you're renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage, you're not getting any equity out of it. The average person who's renting right now has lost $300,000 in equity if they've been renting for 10 some year or whatever it is.
That's a house in itself.
Yeah, and that's what I talked to a lot of people about this. So my house, we've been here since '08. Actually, that was a great year. '08, Phillies just had won the World Series, got married, and bought a house all in the same 4 months. But with the house, last year we took the equity out of our current home and we went and bought a second home down at the beach.
Yeah.
Which is being used for Airbnb. So we took the equity out of our house, bought a beach house, and use that to basically pay the bills down there by doing Airbnb for a second mortgage. And when you're renting, you don't have that option. So, I have a client who's literally settling in 2 weeks from now, who's been renting for the last 5 years. I haven't been working with them for 5 years. I've been working with them close to a year and a half, maybe a little longer. They watched, this home that they're buying probably would have been about 250,000 less 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
So, it's definitely, if it's the right situation, just buy. I mean, I bought my interest rate was, God, over, I think it was close to 7 when we bought this house. Obviously it's not that anymore, but we refied a few times. But yeah, I definitely, and obviously we bought in '08, the greatest, real estate history collapse. And we'll make 150,000 more if we sold this house today, and we have a beach house out of it. So
it's fantastic. And I will kind of end it on saying that, don't thank me now for giving you this real estate advice. Thank me later when I want you to be able to thank me later. We don't just tell people to buy just to buy,
Yep.
And we're not saying do it now just to do it now, because we're in real estate and we help people out and that's our business. We do it because it's what we believe in. And like you just mentioned with your beach house and things like that, we're making moves right now. We think it's a good idea for you to make moves right now. But whatever move you make, we hope that you do it with Next Move, right? And
make your next move your best move, you know?
That's right. Next Move, Delaware Valley with Jim Arcidiacono.
And you got Paul Scott down in Nashville, the country music legend.
The Music City. Thank you, Jim. It's been fun. We got to get out of here. I got to go to work.
Me too.
We got to go to work.
Too.
We got games to watch this week. Thank y'all for tuning into the REQBs. Right.
Peace out.
We'll see you next time.